Got a long weekend ahead of us, so I wanted to get some time out here in the shop working on this gem car. I'm gonna try to show you guys how to do a 4-link, and by try to show you how to do a 4-link, it's because I have no idea what I'm doing. So I watched a ton of videos. Can't find any. I did find a great video of a DS with a DS Club Car DS with a 4-link suspension, but he didn't have the build portion of it. He just had the finished product, which is very helpful, but I want to walk you through a little bit of why I'm doing what I'm doing and what I saw differently about some people's videos. And in the end, because it is a little bit different with not having a drive shaft, it makes it a little bit easier, I think. Again, we won't know till I get a finished product, but the goal is to have this thing rolling today. I want to have the shocks mounted, I want to have the 4-link done, and hopefully we will have it so I can push it out of the garage and start working on the body. Let's see where this goes. Here we are under the car. I have the brand new 2-speed rear end mounted. Originally, I was looking at tilting it forward or backwards because I was worried about the motor hitting on the frame, but the frame on this, the very end of it, really serves no purpose, so I can easily cut, copy and paste, do whatever I need to do. So I just decided to go back with it straight up and down. That's how it was designed. I would rather not mess with the fluids and all of that stuff and screw things up there. So I'm doing a triangulated. I've got my lowers mounted here, just quick tack weld on so that I can start putting this together. Now, originally I had this much higher, but from the videos that I'm watching, I wanted to go down lower, so I do have to add on up here where it mounts to try to get it more stable. We'll work on that in the end, but I like it down lower so that it makes this more parallel. So we're gonna mount this lower tab. I've got some prefab tabs that I bought that I've just gotta cut the half circles out, and the ones on the top, I already have the half circles in them, so those are easy. And we're gonna try to figure this out. From what I can see, the thing that I'm doing differently now is the best thing is these need to be parallel to each other to not have any twisting on the rear end. So basically you want your up and downs to be directly above and below each other. And same thing here, down, and no matter where it is, if it's over here, it still just needs to be on the same axis here. And I may not be saying any of that right, but so my triangulator is gonna come to this point and then out to here, but in the end I want them the same distance apart from here to here that I have from here to here. So hopefully that will keep us from rolling or doing anything weird whenever we hit bumps, but that is what we're gonna find out. To make the 4-link bars, pretty simple. You buy these things. Get them on Amazon. DOM tubing, I went with 1 1/4. It's 0.020, I believe, is the sidewall thickness. And these 1-inch slip right in. You cut them to length, put a spot weld on, get everything tacked into place just to make sure everything is correct. And it's really that simple. For my mounts, I took this, which is the exact same as my axle, simply drew a line around the circumference there, and so I'm going to take that and just cut and grind. These are 1/4 inch thick. My little rudimentary tools that I have aren't good, so I'm just going to use a grinder and a cutting wheel. Then I'll shape them, and then for the tops, I bought these. You can get these online. They're a little expensive for what you get, but in the end, it's a hell of a lot easier than cutting all of that out with a grinding wheel. So I'm gonna go ahead and use these. And so these will be my top mounts. I just gotta drill the holes out a little bit. And so we're gonna mock this thing up and see where it goes. I'm gonna weld the bottom brackets on here. pretty much just went straight across from where I was at, measured my distance from here to the inner, matched it over here, so they should be perfect. I got it directly centered under the frame, so I shouldn't have any problems there. I'm gonna go ahead and tack this in. All right, so now we can mock these up with some simple PVC pipe. So that's what I'm going to do now. The reason you want to do that, there's no reason to waste this DOM pipe. This stuff is crazy expensive for what it is. And so I am going to just go ahead and mock this up. And a lot of changes can be made with the length of the links. So it just has to be in the general area of lengthwise within, you know, a quarter, half inch or whatever. All right, just using some 1-inch PVC for my temporary sway bar. All right, lowers are fabbed in. So now to the uppers. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my mounts in, but the only issue with that is I have to get them angled. So I'll probably make up some temporary sway bar link sizes, probably a little too long, to make sure that I can hold it together as I am fabricating it so that the angle is correct on what I am doing for the actual mounts. So now I am mocking up the top. So obviously these need to be twisted where the other ones are straight. The goal again is to keep them straight over the top of each other. And then these will be straight in line because they're going to be welded to the flat surface. All I did is set these on top of here. I marked a midline, set them on top, so I want the most triangulation that I can for the width that I have, and then the other thing is going to be mounting the shocks. So what I'm doing is just tacking this all into place, then I'll bring these down, I'll measure the distance from here to here, and then I want to match that distance from here to here as in height-wise. So then basically they are parallel on the plane to each other, which shouldn't allow the rear end to twist at all. Just a theory, but from what the videos I've watched, that's kind of what I'm getting. Again, this is just a big golf cart. Again, the motor being 11 inches long will hit here, but again, I can obviously cut that. That's not an issue. I'm not worried about any of this. We'll figure that out later. So I want to give you as many angles as I can on this, because I know that's the one thing when I was looking that I couldn't see enough of. There always needs to be as much video shot so people can go ahead and pause and do all the things they need to do to try to figure out how it will work with theirs. Those are tacked. The one thing that I want to point out, where you can see this here quite well, is this rear end I ordered with 2 of the same size axles. If you look at the majority of golf cart rear ends, they're going to have a long and a short. And the reason they do that is so that the motor is offset. It allows you to do, so it's not going to be directly in the middle. The motor, the rear end, let's say, will be over here if the short axle's on that side. So that allows the motor to be in this area so it wouldn't hit right here, wouldn't be an issue. But my thought is I would rather have the wider rear end, so I couldn't care less about what I have to modify in, you know, because of that. And shocks are always an issue. Like if you know with the Club Car DS, if you put a Navitas motor on it, if you're running the shocks, you need to have a 4K motor, because the 5K, it hits on something, it'll screw it up. So we're gonna run this through the full up and down of the suspension to make sure that, you know, none of the wires are gonna hit, nothing of that nature. And whatever is an issue, then we'll change, we'll move out of the way. But so this is the basic configuration that I've gone with. We're gonna go ahead and mount the fronts. But on the fronts, because of the angle, I need a longer one and a shorter one, because the ones on the inside need to be the long ones and the ones on the outside need to be the short ones. So what I may do is just cut a little bit of that off. I just have to make sure that I still have enough room that it's not going to rub when it goes up and down. So I'll figure that out, and then I'll be back to show you what I'm doing. So everything is looking absolutely fantastic until you just sit there and look and realize that that would never work because I haven't mounted the motor yet. Obviously that's going to be in the way. This is why you make everything out of PVC and just tack things in. So now I can easily take that back apart, mount my motor, and then figure out where they need to go to actually make that work. So that is a lesson today, is don't make things permanent until you know if they're going to work permanently. Man, it's been a long day, but I'm making progress, so that's a good thing. Thought I had everything figured out, I didn't have everything figured out. Having the two long tubes is wonderful for width, but when it comes to putting your suspension components on, these tall things I had obviously were going to cause an issue. So then I tried to go out further, mounted those up, and then it interfered with the shock. So I finally decided I'm just cutting this down. So basically then what I had to do is re-evaluate the height here. So I think it was 6.5 inches or 7.5 inches that I had. So then I had to transfer that up to the front, left the bottom ones where they were. I brought the top links down, and so now we have the same distance in between the front and the back. So I think we're all good. This is beyond the highest that it's gonna be, so it's not going to hit here. So everything from that way forward is gonna push this up whenever the suspension hits. So the motor should never come into contact with that bar. So I think we're good to go. I've got the top mounts tacked in for the shocks. I'm gonna make some quick ones for the bottom ones. I may have another set coming tomorrow, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna make these temporary or permanent. But I am to the point now where I'm actually gonna take the PVC pipe out, and I'm cutting actual DOM tubing to go back in and tack in, so that I can actually take this thing out and roll it around. So that's gonna be about the best thing yet. So show you where we're going and what we're doing, and we'll see what you think. All right, so this part's pretty simple. All I'm doing is taking the piece of PVC that I had mocked up in there. We'll see how it works. All right, since we already did the majority of the work, all we should have to do here is pop these bars on and tack into place. Oh yeah, baby. Gemcarsmodified. Want to thank Brad and Austin for the official hat. Oh yeah. That's what it's all about. She is officially a roller, although it needs a lot of nuts and bolts put in. Floor link is officially on. Everything is tacked into place. And we got our triangulated 4-link suspension with some Fox shocks. I'm gonna be honest with you here. This thing is freaking massive. I am 6 foot tall and it is way taller than me. My guess is that I may struggle to get it to go through a regular garage door. So the back, amazingly enough, is not going to need that much of trimming. I'll just get some new wheel well things and trim up what I need, if that's what I end up going with, is that back end. Just put the top shell on it just to take a look, so I can also fit the front end pieces.